So today we're going to be reacting to the ESPN's expansion. And I do want to make a video being like fans don't understand the expansion draft and they don't understand free agency. As well as that, because people are losing their mind that mid-tier unrestricted free agents are being left unprotected. And the only way an unrestricted free agent ends up on an expansion team by default is if they get cored. Like, an unrestricted free agent, like a mid-tier unrestricted free agent, as in, let's just pick a name out off the top of my head. Sophie. The only way Sophie Cunningham is actually taken in the expansion draft is if a team is willing to pay her a core-designated supermax. And I think there's possibility of that, but it's unlikely because the reality is that teams are literally going to have to leave all-stars unprotected. There are going to be multiple all-stars unprotected in this draft, and both teams get one each. They get one unrestricted free agent each. So if you think that a team is going to core a mid-tier unrestricted free agent, last year, by the way, they chose Monique Billings. Monique Billings could have just said no to the Valkyries. They didn't core her. Monique Billings was under no obligation to play for the Valkyries after being selected by them. But yeah, it is what it is. So let's go. We'll talk a bit more about that. But let's look at the player predictions. So first of all, we have 40 Atlanta Dream. They're projected to pick keep Alicia Gray, Maya Caldwell, Naz Hillman, and Ryan Haratina Pow Pow. These four obvious. I don't understand why you would keep Maya Caldwell. I think if Puach is going to come over, you're going to pick her. Since when does Sika Kone play for the Dream? Since when? Oh, when did she sign for the Dream? What trade was she a part of? Oh, the Mystics cut her. I didn't realize the Mystics cut her. But obviously, yeah. You're not going to keep Sika Kone. But Puach, they used a first round pick on her. I'd probably strongly consider keeping her. But it just depends on. Look, they're not keeping Maya Caldwell. So according to ESPN, it's between Borlase and Puach versus maybe they keep Isabel Borlase, but and Pow Pow. There's no way they let go Pow Pow. Caldwell was Carl Smesco's most trusted perimeter reserve last season and can negotiate only with Atlanta. Oh, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. So the Sky protecting Atkins, Cardoso, Reese, yeah, Sivka obviously, and Haley Van Lith. HVL over Maddie Westbeld. Now that's interesting. HVL over Maddie Westbeld. Everybody else, fair enough. None of these unrestricted free agents are going to get taken in the expansion draft. None of them, they're all mid-tier players. They're not coring any of them, so it doesn't really matter. The only reason you should protect an unrestricted free agent is if you're scared they're going to get cored. And that goes to every team. That goes for every single team in the expansion draft. The only reason to protect an unrestricted free agent is if you're scared you're going to get cored. Otherwise, you're not going to be taken. So, yeah, I kind of get that. I would take Maddie Westbeld, though. Connecticut Sun, Lacan, Aaliyah Edwards. I still wouldn't protect Marina Mabry and Anissa Morrow, Sanaya Rivers. I'd protect Ono. Honestly. Like, I'm not that certain of... I'm really not that certain that that an expansion team would sign and core Marina Mabry. Like, I would not be... Like, I would be shocked if one of them signs and cores Marina. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go out of my way to sign and core Marina Mabry or sign and core Marina Mabry. I don't think it's going to be a thing. All in key to franchise. Mabry, a candidate for core designation, gets the 5th spot. Yeah, but like, you might have to core Marina Mabry to keep Marina Mabry. I don't know if keeping Marina Mabry on a max is worth it. So, I don't know. The Dallas Wings protected. And Page, obviously. Geisel Suter, a whack. I'd let Enrique walk. Because I think that Isaiah James, JJQ, and Diamond Miller are all very valuable players and they're guarantees to be picked. I'd keep Isaiah James no matter what. The whole thing is with Louisa Geisel. I think if you're going to keep Louisa Geisel Suter and Wack Coulier, you've just basically said we're not drafting Alba Fan, which is fine. If that's the way you want to go about it, so be it. I still think Awafam's the best player in this draft, but like if you're dead set on AZ, it is what it is. Like it's not like Awafam's not Dominique Malonga, so it's not like she's the best player in the world. Like Dominique Malonga potentially could be the GOAT. So I'm not that low on. I'm not that high. I'm not that annoyed. Wouldn't be that annoyed if they make this choice. But yeah, I'd protect Isaiah James no matter what, even if it means losing Arike. You're gonna have to keep Arike purely because of potentially being core. While Arike would potentially have trade value as a core player, even if Dallas is ready to move on. That's the only thing where it's like, I don't think Arike has trade value as a core player. I don't think you can core Arike and get anything for him. Like, I don't think there's going to be that many core trades this year. Like, the Seattle Storm got so lucky with Jewel Lloyd. And even though they won a title, even though the Aces won a title, I think in hindsight, we kind of know Jewel Lloyd's maybe not that level player. So I think it's one of those things looking at it now, especially with teams going modern, that the Arike archetype, not that someone's not going to be willing to pay Arike, because I think they will, that you're not going to trade any assets for Arike. And I do think when it comes to core for core, like core for core, you I don't know if there's another core player unless you want to trade get Marina Mabrey back or something, which is a problem. But I do think Zaza James has to be a guarantee for them. For the Valks, protecting Veronica Burton, Juste Jacite, Iliana Rupert, Janelle Solon, Kayla Thornton. I would not protect Kayla Thornton. There's no point protecting Kayla Thornton. One, I don't think they're going to give her the core designation max. I don't think anyone's going to be crazy enough to give as much as, I know she was an all-star. The Valkyries did not get any worse when Kayla Thornton got injured. And the only thing is, like, there's no point in me complaining about ESPN's predictions because the Valks aren't dumb. The Valks aren't dumb. Carla Late is going to be there. Carla Late is on one of those is on a cost-protected rookie deal. If nothing else, they might protect Kate Martin because it gives them more flexibility in free agency. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, these contracts, even with a Kate Martin, like, these rookie deals are gold dust. They are gold dust. And I think when it's all said and done, we're not really going to be seeing that much from, we're not really going to be seeing that much, I think teams are going to be overpaying for players. I think the smart teams are going to keep players on rookie deals. And I think there is a weird scenario where they just say, fuck it. These are about reserved, where maybe they just hope Kate Martin's not picked. And they're going to protect Carla Late. They're smart. They're going to protect Carla Late. Does Carla Late even get a mention here? No. Carla Late is going. I can guarantee you, Carla Late is going to be chosen. I can guarantee you she is, or she's going to be protected. Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, KK. Yeah, that makes sense. Unless, of course, a team is willing to give a supermax to Sophie Cunningham, which I don't think is going to happen. Yeah, this is the obvious five. The obvious five. My guess is that Christy Wallace and Chloe Bibby are going to be picked up. Maybe just Chloe Bibby and they don't take a second one. But Chloe Bibby's almost certainly going to be picked up. It says here, unless an expansion team sees Cunningham as a core candidate, we'll even choose them between pair of Aussies, Bibby and Wallace. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. That would be my kind of prediction here. But yeah, I would say in general, that makes the most sense. For the Aces, Chelsea Gray, Aaliyah Nye, and Alyssa Smith, Aja, Jackie Young. Yeah. Like with no Jewel Lloyd to protect, Aaliyah Nye is an obvious one. Especially again on a 3-year rookie deal. 3 more years rookie deal. And Aaliyah Nye, if I'm not mistaken, she was taken as a second round pick. So she's on a second round pick scale. So I think in general, like you've got like this is an obvious one. It's obvious for the Aces. The Sparks protecting Julie Allemond, Cam Brink, Dearica Hamby, Rakia Jackson, Kelsey Plum. This makes the most sense. And you might be saying, what about Azare? But if you can only protect 5, this 5 makes the most sense. Why? Because you have the rights to Julie Allemond. You don't have the rights to Azare. So even if you protect Azare can just leave. Like, Azare can literally just go, yeah, I'm dipping. Like, everyone's thought Fever want Azare. The Wings want Azare. Everybody wants Azare. So it doesn't make any difference if you lose her in an expansion draft or lose her in free agency, because I don't see them keeping her in free agency. You're going to have to pay her a max contract. And you're also, Cam Brink is going to have to start. Unless you want to bench Cam Brink again, which would be the dumbest thing you can do long term. Unless you want to bench Cam Brink, there is no point protecting Azare. And it makes so much more sense why they wouldn't protect Azare. But yeah, maybe she will get cord. But like, again, this one does, the fans don't understand. It's like, oh, we're going to protect Azare. Why are we going to protect Azare? Because you can't let Azare go in the expansion draft. It's like, yeah, but you can't afford to keep her in free agency. You can't afford to. You cannot afford to give max contracts to Jerica Hamby, Kelsey Plum, and Azare. You can't. You're going to go back with the same team. It's going to be a 9 seed. Makes perfect sense. So Stevens might be the best unrestricted free agent, which will make her a likely choice for a core spot. That might be okay, given Sparks, given Brink will probably move into the starting lineup now she's fully recovered. My decision came down to Alamond, who jumpstarted LA's offense. Julie Alamond is going to be a better value. Like, she's going to be better for this specific team than Azare, because Azare is coming off the bench. Minnesota Lynx, Fee, McBride, Smith, Courtney Williams, obviously. Dorka Yuha is an interesting one. And it kind of makes sense, because I have a weird feeling that Bridget Carlton's going to get offered a max contract by the Toronto Tempo. I have a weird feeling, just for feel-good vibes, they're going to take the best Canadian player. And with that being said, like, if you're going to lose her anyway, you might as well just lose her in the expansion draft. Colleen Nikova is probably going to go in the expansion draft to whatever the other team is, either her or Kosu. But it says here, with 3 All-Stars plus Depoy, Alana Smith, all eligible for the core designation, the Lynx might have to fill up most of their protected spots with veteran starters. Carlton will be a candidate for the expansion draft too, particularly if the Toronto want to build around a prominent native of Canada. A chance leaving Carlton unprotected, particularly because she's kind of veteran who might get larger offers that Minnesota can afford to match while retaining starts. Yeah, that's probably one that is an important one, because there is a very good chance. There is a good chance. Like, we saw the Aces fuck up last year. They lost Kate Martin because they protected Tiffany Hayes. Like, they protected Tiffany Hayes. So they've lost a player. They lost who should have been a really big player for the team because of protecting Tiffany Hayes, who was a better player at that point in time, because they assumed Tiffany Hayes was going back. Like, Tiffany Hayes came out of retirement to play for, She came out of retirement to play for the Aces last year. So the reality is that they just assumed she was coming back. And then Tiffany Hayes went to the Valkyries anyway. Like, they lost Tiffany Hayes to the expansion franchise anyway. So there's a good chance if you protect Bridget Carlton, that you're going to lose her to Toronto anyway. Toronto might give her a max contract, which they can't afford. So it is what it is. Just like the Aces couldn't afford to keep Tiffany Hayes. I still cannot believe the Aces didn't even make the finals in 2024, and their team was a million times better than their 2025 team. And for the Liberty, Natasha Cloud, Leo Phoebish, Sabrina Ionescu, Maureen Johannes, and Benijah Laney Hamilton. I think this is a really interesting one, because Raquel Carrera and Maureen Photo are two players that, obviously, if they're coming over, are going to be big for their team. So I think it's going to be, I think she has a suspended contract, so you're going to keep Benijah Laney Hamilton no matter what. Maureen Johannes reserves, so she's going to come back on the cheap. Phoebish, obviously, on a rookie deal. John Quell and Stewie ineligible. Natasha Cloud, they probably might core Natasha Cloud, but that's a big might. That is a big might. The Liberty don't have to worry about protecting two of their big three. Yada yada. Messwim could be a core candidate in her own right. Betting Liberty leave her unprotected. They also absolutely can't, are not going to core. They're not going to give MMS a max. They can't afford that, especially with Benijah Laney Hamilton coming back. Sabley and finally a rookie there. Eileen Johannes because of Sabley's injury history. I mean, Johannes wasn't great last year at times. She was good at times. She wasn't great at times. But I don't know. I'd consider protecting Raquel Carrera. If Raquel Carrera is coming over, I'd do that. But Mercury, Akoma Makani, Satu, yes. Alyssa Thomas, yes. I'd protect Kalani Brown. If I was them, I'd protect Kalani Brown. The reason I protect Kalani Brown is she's on 100k. Like, Kalani Brown is going to be the cheapest player in this team. Like, none of these are on rookie contracts. So every single one of these players you have to negotiate at a minimum of 200k, and Kalani Brown is on 100k. She signed she signed the contract coming into 2026. She's one of the two players, her and Lexi Brown, which means she's getting like half of the minimum. So I would absolutely protect Kalani Brown. She's on an unbelievable contract for a year. She basically allows you to give 100k extra to a different player. And I would strongly consider keeping Clara Holm. Like, if she's willing to come over, I would protect Clara Holm. I think she's a better prospect than Natasha Mack. I think she's a much better prospect than a Kat Westbelt. All around, though, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. They have to protect two for... Yeah, they would have to protect two for the core designation. Obviously, Bonner's a... a player that's ineligible, as is Kat Copper. Storm, Jordan Horston, Ezzy Magbagor, Malonga, Mule, and Gabby Williams. I don't know about Nika Mule. Like, I keep Lexi Brown over Nika Mule because, and again, Lexi Brown is on 100k a year. Like, I understand Nika Mule's under 100k a year as well, but like, still, it's I'd keep Lexi Brown. I would keep Lexi Brown purely just because of the contract. I let Sykes walk. They might core and take Sykes. Like, is there a mention of Sykes? The decision ultimately depends on the importance they put to re-signing Sykes. There should be no importance. Who could be a core option for the expansion team coming on for an all-star season? Yeah, that's the reality is that Sykes is probably going to be one of the... What we saw is Sykes can carry a bad team. We saw Sykes being able to carry a bad team. So I do think that that's something that could very well happen. It could very, very well happen. But yeah, it's... You got Washington Mystics protecting Georgia Amore, Shakira Austin, who's a restricted free agent, Sonia Citron, Kiki Fenn, Jace Sheldon. And just like the Wings, they're going to lose a good player somewhere. You probably lose one of Emily Angsler or Lucy Olsen in the expansion draft. The first four spots are easy. Jace Sheldon should be kept. It's the 5 spots should be easy. Came down to Sheldon and Angsler. I think Angsler is better, but like Sheldon has 2 more years of a rookie deal. And also, they literally gave up Aaliyah Edwards for JC Sheldon. If you're not going to protect JC Sheldon, like, what are you meant to do there? All around, though, I do think that they were one of the most idiotic things I've ever seen a team do is what they did with Jay Melbourne. That is one of the most idiotic things I've ever seen a team do. They literally had her on a 4th-year rookie deal, on a controlled rookie deal because she was a 3rd-round pick. And instead of paying her 80 grand, they didn't pick up the option. And they might have to pay if they want to keep her. Based on the current contract, she's about a mid-tier point guard. So you're probably going to have to pay her 300 to 400 grand. You basically have to pay her possibly extra 300k because you just didn't want to keep her for an extra year. So yeah, not ideal. So I agree with all these. I think Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown are going to be kept because of their contracts. I think it's actually a pretty good one. I actually do. We're not seeing bullshit like the Liberty protecting Anastasia, or not Anastasia Kosu, the Liberty protecting Annika Soltau, who is averaging who's playing in fucking Switzerland right now. We're not seeing ridiculous stuff like that. So this wasn't that bad. Anyway, I'll see you guys.